Well, a long hike in the Grand Canyon begins with a single step, and so too does a new podcast. My name is Brian Special, and I am the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude on social media, and I am deeply grateful that you decided to join us on episode 1 of the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, presented by Bright Angel Outfitters. All right, the goal of this show is to infect you with the same love for hiking the Grand Canyon that we all have. And we'll do that by sharing with you all the ingredients that make up a successful journey below the rim. The tips, the tricks, the do's, the don'ts, the trails you can't miss, and the experiences you'll remember forever if you too will just take that first step. Now, often we will be joined by the experts here on the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show. There are so many amazing people who are doing some remarkable things in the canyon, and I cannot wait to pick their brains and learn right alongside you because, no matter how many times you've hiked the canyon, there is always something new to learn. A little bit about me. My own Grand Canyon obsession started as a 13-year-old 7th grader. That was back in 1986 when my parents took my brother and I and kind of dove right in. Made our first canyon experience, the iconic rim-to-rim hike. Those were the days when you could pull up to the Grand Canyon Airport and take a 15-minute or so flight from the south rim to the north rim. You get on a twin propeller kind of airplane with about, 10 seats inside. Remember how cool it was to land on that dirt runway they had on the north rim. Well, those days are over now. You can't do that anymore. But now hiking rim to rim can be a logistical challenge as it's a 4 to 5 hour car ride to get from one rim to the other. On that first trip, we hiked North Kaibab to Phantom Ranch. We spent 2 nights down at Phantom and then climbed out via Bright Angel. A long time ago, but it's an unforgettable experience that I still look fondly back on to this very day. After that, my canyon obsession kind of lay dormant for decades. Outside of many trips to Havasupai and the famous falls, now made famous by the Instagram era, life kind of kept me from the canyon until recently. But man, what a rekindling it has been. It was just about 2 years ago that I did my first ever rim-to-river hike. That means going down South Kaibab to the Colorado River, making a slight turn north to check out the iconic Phantom Ranch, and then returning to the rim on the famous Bright Angel Trail. That was 17 and a half miles that changed my life for 2 main reasons. First of all, the views. There's nothing on this planet that I've experienced that matches the views from the South Kaibab Trail. I mean, there's just no picture, no video that can do justice to how absolutely spectacular the scenery is, basically the entire way down. It's something that you've got to experience and something that you have to see to believe. It's just mind-boggling. Blows my mind to even think about it. I also remember being mesmerized by the Colorado itself. It was kind of running a gorgeous emerald green color on that day. It's chocolate brown more often than not, it seems. And I found my way to the beach to dip my feet into the ice-cold water. It felt so good at that point. The second life-changing memory was the sense of accomplishment. I mean, that hike rim to river is hard, especially if you've never experienced the uniqueness of hiking in the canyon. There aren't many places, where you descend 4,800 feet and then, after that brutal descent, have to go up 4,400 feet. It's a mountain upside down, and that takes some getting used to, and doing that kind of hiking takes a lot of getting used to. By the time I was halfway up Bright Angel, man, I remember I was hurting hips, knees, feet, toes, shoulders, neck. I mean, it was rough. At that point, I would put that on about the same difficulty level as the marathons that I've run. And when I finally surfaced that first time, it was honestly, it was emotional. It was really emotional, almost like tearing up. I didn't expect that at all, but I guess that's just the power that the Grand Canyon holds over us. After that, I was hooked. I live about a 3.5 hour drive away in Phoenix. So now you'll find me on the trails about twice a month in the cooler time of year and about once a month in the heat of the summer. During those summer hikes, it's usually following the full moon and staying out of the extremely dangerous heat of the day. A lot of night hiking. Rim to rim, rim to river, South Kaibab, North Kaibab, Bright Angel, Tonto, Plateau Point. Even my first one-day rim to rim just last week. I've done them all on the main corridor trails and can't wait to share my experiences with you with the sincere hope that you'll be able to avoid some of the mistakes that I've made and be fully prepared for whatever adventure you're planning in that magnificent place that is the Grand Canyon. All right, if you've made it this far, you're probably serious about hiking the canyon, and I know how overwhelming it can be to prepare to do so. How do I train? Where do I stay? How do I get to a trailhead? What do I pack? What do I eat? Well, I promise you that answering those questions is the reason that this show exists, and we will address them all in future episodes. But for starters, I thought I'd give you 3 things you need to know when you drop into the canyon. 2 mistakes I've made, and 1 that is the number 1 piece of advice for anyone who wants to hike the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show was brought to you by Bright Angel Outfitters, a company my wife and I founded to help you have your best hiking experience in the Grand Canyon and beyond. Coming soon from Bright Angel Outfitters, our one-of-a-kind Rim-to-Rim Pack, a 22-liter day pack that we painstakingly conceptualized and developed over hundreds of miles below the rim, so the canyon-tested toughness is already built in. The one-size-fits-most Rim-to-Rim Pack is sleek and simple, with a lightweight, water-resistant design, and what we're most excited about, our trademarked pack straps, which are a total of 6 pockets and pouches built into the front shoulder straps, giving you easy access to snacks, water bottles, and even your phone, so you don't have to stop and take your pack off every time you need something. They are game changers. The Rim-to-Rim Pack from Bright Angel Outfitters is coming soon and will be available at brightangeloutfitters.com. All right, on to the tips. First, number 1, use trekking poles. Now, using poles is something that did not even cross my mind on that first rim to river. I went without. I never used poles on any of my daily hikes at home, and I still don't. But in the canyon, I have never once been without poles since that very first rim to river. You see, on the downhill, your legs are taking an absolute beating. None of the 3 corridor trails, South Kaibab, North Kaibab, Bright Angel, are smooth the entire way down. There are giant steps that can be up to, I'd say, 2 feet tall or so, above knee high sometimes, and you're constantly having to go down them, so they can be brutal. And without poles to brace yourself and transfer some of the shock to your upper body, your knees and joints just take the brunt of the damage. Poles are also great for the way out for the opposite reason, as they can really help you propel yourself up those giant steps. I would not go without them. What poles do I use? All right, on my rim to rim to rim that I just did a couple of weeks ago, my original poles from Costco had gotten a little bit worn out after hundreds and hundreds of miles in the canyon. So I stopped to get some other supplies at Walmart. And you know what I did? I picked up a pair of $23 poles from Walmart and used them on my rim to rim to rim. And you know what? They were fantastic. Maybe they could have been lighter, but I've never used the super ultralight poles that can cost, close to $200. These, what were they? These $23 poles suited me just fine, and I will be using them on another rim to rim that I'm planning on doing this week. So, and they last a long time. The ones from Costco that I had, again, hundreds of miles. So if you want to cut corners and not spend as much money, I would recommend that hiking poles are a good way to do that. The ones from Costco, the ones from Walmart, I've even found worked absolutely fantastic. They were perfect for the canyon. You'll want to do them, I would say with the rubber tips on the end of the poles, because there's so many rocks. It's such a rocky experience in the canyon that mainly for noise. It's loud and clanky when you're making all that noise with your poles. The rubber tips help to muffle some of that, and it's also really a comfortable way to hike. They get good grip, and they're perfect. $23. I can't believe $23 poles from Walmart fit me and did me so well, but they did. All right, number 2. The second thing I wish I had known before hiking the Grand Canyon. It's kind of on the same wavelength here. Do not go down too fast. This really goes, it goes hand in hand with not having poles. If you combine that with not knowing any better about how fast you're descending, you're really asking for trouble. Now, I'm someone who is competitive enough with myself to care about what my time is on a hike. So that first time going down South Kaibab, I was just absolutely geeked up on adrenaline because of where I was, maybe not paying enough attention to how fast I was going because of the scenery. and thinking to myself how easy it was going down and how great of a time I could post because of that. Yeah, that's a dangerous combination. No poles, going too fast. By the time I got to the river, I remember my legs were cooked. I was already in a lot of pain and had not even started the hardest part of the hike yet. So imagine that, 10 miles to go, 4,400 feet worth of elevation to climb up Bright Angel, and your legs are basically shot. Yeah, totally self-inflicted. So if you don't have upside down mountain experience, I highly recommend resisting the urge to go down too fast in the Grand Canyon, especially if you're doing it without poles. Bad idea. All right, number 3, lastly, and this is the big one. This is the one the Park Service and its rangers wish everyone knew. This is the one that can be deadly if you don't take it seriously, and that is to know your limits. Standing on the South Rim and looking down on Bright Angel Trail, you can be easily fooled into thinking that everything is closer than it really is. Havasupai Gardens, Plateau Point, even the river they look like they aren't that far. But I promise you, it is an illusion. And if you aren't a serious hiker who's done their research and in excellent physical condition, I mean, the canyon can even kill you. It happens multiple times every year. I know that sounds harsh, but it's proven true every year, especially in the summer months. Look, hiking to the river from the South Rim is 8 miles down and 8 miles up with 4,400 feet of elevation change each way. That's if you do it on Bright Angel. It is serious business. Every single time I'm on Bright Angel, every time I see people who look like they've gone too far. They're in sneakers, sometimes jeans. They might be carrying a little bottle of water, maybe. Sometimes they have Starbucks cups. I've even seen that deep in the canyon. It's hot. There's direct sun beating down on you. And now that you've been seduced into hiking too far down, you have to turn around and go back up. So dehydration, heat exhaustion, overexertion, they can all come into play and require a rescue from the Park Service and a helicopter flight to the hospital if you aren't careful. People die on these trails every year, and that's something that can be avoided if you just know your limits. Like the Rangers will tell you, going down is optional, going up is mandatory. Hiking in the canyon, serious business, and it's always best to be prepared. Well, guys, there are so many things to talk about when it comes to hiking the Grand Canyon, and I cannot wait to get into all of it in future episodes. Again, our only goal here is that you'll learn something that will help you with your own hike, and we just can't wait to hear your stories of triumph from one of the true bucket list destinations on the planet, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, the magnificent Grand Canyon. Go get it. I'm Brian Special. Take the first step, embrace the journey, and hike your own hike. We'll see you next time on the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show, presented by Bright Angel Outfitters.